Hello everyone, Genghis here, and today I'll be reviewing a tank that I guess you don't see unicums and super unicums that often in, the T28. So, this tank has been around for ages, right? The American tank destroyer. And it used to be like really garbage, at least in my eyes. Recently it got a couple buffs though. It definitely got an HP buff, and I'm pretty sure it also got a speed buff. I don't even know if it got any other buffs like a gun buff or not, because I never played it before. But between that, the T95 also getting its speed buff, and me considering the E3 to probably be very good at the moment because you have a lot of Mouses, Type 5s, RTs worse and so on, I decided to, start the grind and see how it goes. And I'm really quite surprised by the tank. Like, I'm not gonna sell you this tank as being completely overpowered or anything, right? And it's definitely not a keeper either for someone like me because it's just way too fucking slow. But it's really not a bad tank. And why? Well, first of all, with 1500 HP, you finally have some HP, you know? Because you don't get like 2 shot by E75s anymore and 3 shot by IS3s. Sure, you still get 4 shot, but it's that much better. And it really makes a difference that you have the same HP as heavies. Or, more or less same tier heavies. Additionally, you have 248 AP pen and 297 APCR pen, which is pretty great at tier 8. With 400 damage, and the reload, sad that you don't see it here, the reload I have with Cola and Vents and Rammer is just 7.2 seconds for 400 damage. Comparing that to like an IS3, which gets down to 10.9 or something. For 390 alpha, you see the difference. Now I'm going very aggressive, and look at that aim. This tank has really got quite good accuracy in the move, mainly because it's slow as fuck, right? But it allows you to do beautiful things like that. Where you double track the T34 and force him to use his rep kit and get 800 damage into him. So that's really quite cool. Yeah. So, you have a reload of 7.2 seconds, which gives you very good DPM. You have a decently accurate gun, you have high penetration, with 400 alpha, you have decent alpha. You have decent armor, right? It's really not bad. The problem is just that if someone pins you, mainly because they're loading gold or they're like, 2 tiers higher, 1 tier higher, whatever, you can't run away. So if you have like a 5120 who decides to load APCR and push you, you just die, right? Because he will just pin every shot with 325 APCR, and you can't do anything about it. But that's really the biggest disadvantage of this tank. Well, that and the speed. And the very garbage side armor, I guess. This shot, by the way, is very not good. Like, it was aimed well, you can see, right, at the track. And then he moved back, and I still shot, although I aim was at the other plate. I take a shot by the Borzik, which I didn't expect to. But I decide that, since that already happened, I'm gonna go trade with him now. Because he's really the only one in the enemy team who can be dangerous to me in my eyes. Or very dangerous to me in this, pretty great matchmaking. But which is also pretty common currently. So, since I out-reload him quite massively, right? I know that the Bolek has around 11-second reload or 10-second reload. And I know that I have got a 7-second reload. And I know that I 3-shot him. I decided to go for the trade, take him out, and be done with it. Should I have loaded HE there? Is actually a pretty good question. I don't actually think so. Like, for the first shot, if I could have loaded before the first shot, maybe. But after that, he was already on 670 HP, right? So I would 2-shot him with AP anyway. There was no way I would 1-shot him with HE. Maybe on SA Supermax roll. No, I don't even think then. And, well, there's always the possibility of HE hitting the gun for 0 damage, so, yeah. I decide to turn around now. I don't want to push into, a Hellcat up there which can shoot me forever. And obviously I can't peek into the LTTB either. So, I decide to come back over here. And help. Well, help. Defend. That shot kind of whiffs oddly. And the LTTB, which is by the way a tier 8, well, he bounces a lucky shot too. Or I aim badly, to be honest, that's quite up to you to say. But, now I can start working here. But the A44 pins me taking out like nearly all of my remaining HP, leaving me on 270 HP and, well, with a score which is definitely close, right? And actually no, probably we do have some slight advantage here because we have like some heavies left also. And they don't really. But this game is definitely close. So the LTDB is coming in my side, right? Actually, I want to pause it right here. Why am I reversing the entire time here, right? I was like there. I shot those guys. I wanted to be up here, yeah? When the enemies were back here, so I could shoot through this gap there. You know what I mean? But now it's really quite important that I keep reversing. so that the enemies, at least so that I can still shoot, right? But so that the enemies can't create a crossfire, let me get out of this. Whoops. How do I do this? There we go. Couldn't, for example, create a crossfire by having one guy peeking down there, one guy peeking on that corner, and maybe even someone up there. I'm kind of avoiding this. Also, I should be able to turn for that LTDB. I do it well. Although, I don't even know if I noticed him at this point, I'm quite honest. Minimap awareness is really that bad. I was aware he was behind me at this point, I remember that. So yeah, at this point I have an LTTB who is behind me, and which I am aware of. I have a Hellcat which is probably still camping up there, because if you're a Hellcat and what you do at the beginning of the game is drive to A9, most of the time you don't move much. And now the A44 also gets spotted behind me. So I'm just gonna assume that those guys, which are now behind me, won't push me soon, and I can just push forwards here, right? Like, I'm really trying to be aggressive, because by doing that, by being in this area, if these guys now get spotted behind me, I can at least hope to maybe, for example, get the rock between me and them by going around here, or, you know, get maybe in that corner and kind of try and play survival there. The LTDB pens me, but I just keep going. And really notice how aggressive I'm playing in general, right? Like, the first thing I did at the beginning of the game, I didn't even point that out much, but I mean, you know, I could camp up there, I could camp up there. I think that's maybe something many of you would do. And I think that's not even too wrong, to be honest. At least camping there. Camping here, really, just don't. But in my eyes, really, what you should be doing, at least when you're, you know, kind of top tier, like even in the game with Future 9s, in a T28, is figuring out somewhere which is kind of corridor-like, and pushing that, going there, right? So that would be like the middle or the city on this map, or on different maps. Really just kind of play it like a medium. Go to the middle where you can kind of shoot everybody. And just, which is kind of the case here, right? Like, why am I going to this position? Well, it allows me to push these guys if they're pushing there. If our team is pushing here, I can move forwards to there and maybe shoot some enemy TDs. If the enemy team is pushing the middle at the beginning, I can also fight them. And I really think that's the strength of the T28. Use your armor, your DPM, and your accurate gun, which also allows you to snipe over and over. When I had 5 kills and 4.8k damage, the game looks pretty much won. But I am down to 91 HP. And I still would like to get some more kills out of this. But I'm not able to, so you can see me poking here. And I'm wiggling the entire time while I'm poking, right? Because I'm very aware that I have very shitty cupolas. But by wiggling even just a little bit, at this kind of range, it really gets quite tricky for me to, for anyone to pen me. As long as I'm wiggling. Which is also why I'm snapshotting quite a lot here. I'm on 91 HP and I don't want to die. Although I guess this snapshot won't really need it, right? But that implies that if I stop, and they have time to aim at my cupolas, oh, they will one-shot me, right? So I decide that I'm better off wiggling a tiny bit, but without going outside of my gun arc, as much as possible. So armor-wise, how is it like on the T28? Well, the lower plate is actually as good as the upper plate, pretty much. Well, this plate, right? Like, so, because you actually have like this, which is the lower plate. Then this I'm gonna call middle plate, is around 220, 230 flat on, depending kind of on the height. And then the superstructure is actually super weird. Like, this next to the mantlet on both sides, these weird curvatures, are pretty damn weak, around 200mm of armor. But then the rest, be it the mantlet or these outsides, like just have the most random values of effective armor depending on where exactly you're aiming. The biggest weakness is definitely as the side armor and the top armor, which are, I think, 50mm on the side. So don't expect to do much, I don't know, side scraping or anything of the kind of this tank. But at least thanks to RD nerfs, getting one shot by RT is not much of an issue anymore. Anyway, spoiler alert, I'm not going to be the one chasing those two guys in city. Let's have a look at the post-game stats. Sounds like a good idea. So, we got an ace tanker in this game, got a Spartan, oh surprise, a steel wall, a high caliber, no surprise either I guess, and a top gun, who would have thought. We ended up doing 5,043 damage and 6 kills, hitting 19 over 24 shots, which isn't great, but again, consider I was snapshotting a lot voluntarily because I wanted to make sure I stay alive, right? Like, there were a couple shots where I could have stopped in the open, go into sniper mode, aim completely, make sure I pen, but vastly increase the probability of the 3, 4, 5, tier 6, 7 enemies in front of me, and even the odd tier 8, of aiming and actually penetrating, for example, my cupolas, instead of seeing a wiggling, moving backwards T28, who actually still is accurate enough on a move to hit some shots, and is really hard to pen in return. I penned 16 of those shots firing not a single APCR shell, unless I ran out of ammo. No, I think I actually fired every AP shell in this game. Blocking 3,220 damage, which, you know, is definitely, well, 21 bombs out of 26 shots. Not too bad. Although, obviously, the matchmaking helped. And yeah, that's that. Credit-wise, well, I ended up making 4,000 profit, thanks to premium account. Although, I guess if you wouldn't run Cola, you would be making way more, right? That's quite obvious. But that's definitely a personal choice. And I think that I rather run Cola and shoot really a lot of AP and not a lot of APCR. I know I'm carrying 11 APCR, but I really don't tend to shoot them. I just have them for that odd game with full tier 10s. And I just rather run coffee, spend my credits, so to say, there. Although I guess you do need a premium account. And then run it with a bunch of AP when you have 248 AP pin, which is more than enough with this kind of accuracy. So yeah, as always, make sure you leave a like, you leave a subscribe, you click on that cute bell. Maybe check out the links in the description below for all the other cool things. And thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.